Hello everyone and welcome to another Pyro Gaming video. As promised, this will be my Hunter loadout video. The reason it took me so long to get this video up is because my Hunters on both PS4 and Xbox One apparently have the absolute worst possible RNG imaginable. I have still yet to get a single Celestial Nighthawk to drop on either of my characters, and on PS4 I finally got my first Orpheus rig for both accounts. It's actually ridiculous. Raiden Flux, however, I have gotten probably at least 23 times, and that is not an exaggeration. Bungie, please fix this. It's getting a bit out of hand. So anyway, now that we have that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the Hunter. Now, when I use my Hunter, I am typically using either Night Stalker or Gunslinger. I do not use Arc Strider all that much, and that's not to say Arc Strider's bad, because it's absolutely not. Arc Strider, when used correctly, can be very good. So when looking at Arc Strider, you want to build it one of two ways. This one's all about melees, this one's about some other little things. To be honest with you, both of these perk sets are fairly underwhelming. What really makes Arc Strider stand out and be exciting and be useful is when you combine it with Raiden Flux. So hopefully you guys got 23 of them like I did, because Raiden Flux actually is one of the better Hunter exotics. Synapse Junctions. Quick, successive attacks with Arc Staff increase its damage output and duration. So basically what that means is when you have Raiden Flux and you're running Arc Strider, and again it doesn't matter which one of these perk sets you choose, as long as you have a steady stream of enemies, you can just keep using it. You can honestly make Arc Strider last forever. Now, Arc Strider is going to be one of those classes that you're going to want to use in one of two situations. Number one, when there's a lot of ads that you need to clear out, and number two, if there is a boss that you need to stunlock. Yes, you heard me right. Arc Strider is one of the best methods in this game to stunlock a boss. And if you don't know what stunlock is, it's when you hit a boss with a lot of damage and he kind of does that, you know, where he like stumbles back a little bit type thing. Arc Strider is one of the best sources in the game for that. Now, that being said, let's talk about Night Stalker and Gunslinger. I will start with Gunslinger. So Gunslinger, I really like it in Destiny 2. I think they did a really good job. This is the one that I typically use down here, Way of the Sharpshooter. The main reason for Knife Juggler and Precision with Golden Gun. These are the two perks that really make me want to use this. Crowd Pleaser is also pretty good. If you want to generate orbs for your teammates, you can do that. And Practice Makes Perfect. Honestly, I don't really notice that much of a benefit of using this perk, but, you know, because Bungie doesn't believe in customization, we have to pick whole little chunks instead of individual perks, but this is the one that I typically use. You compare that to up here, I don't really care much for Explosive Knife. I would rather have that satisfaction of landing a precision throwing knife and getting a kill and getting my knife right back over this. Over here we have Chain of Woe. I would much rather have this in place of this, but I'm not going to use a perk slot just because of Chain of Woe. Deadshot, this one is a good perk to have, but Six Shooter to me is kind of a waste. So because of all that, that's why I go with this one. And additionally, another reason I go with this one is, like I said, because of the precision thing. And if I actually had one, which I don't 2 months into Destiny, but Celestial Nighthawk, when you crit an enemy with Celestial Nighthawk, it does absolute ridiculous amounts of damage. So if you had a Celestial Nighthawk and you were running the precision build for Gunslinger, you're going to do some major damage. And that is absolutely what I would use for bosses. I would take off Celestial Nighthawk for every other type of enemy, and I pretty much just would not touch this perk slot up here at any given time. And on to our third and final subclass, and the one that I typically use the most, and that is going to be the Night Stalker subclass. Now, Night Stalker was one of my favorite Hunter subclasses in Destiny 1, because Golden Gun wasn't all that great until it got a little bit of a boost there towards the end of it, but it's just a really fun, useful class to have. So what I typically run is a Snare Bomb, throw a Smoke Bomb, blah, 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 blah. Honestly, I don't really care about this. It annoys me more than anything when I try to melee an enemy and he throws like a little sticky bomb at him. But yeah, Keen Scout is really good if you want to find chests, if you want to find, you know, different materials out in the world, stuff like that. Keen Scout is really useful. Deadfall. The Void Anchors fired from Shadow Shot become traps and wait for prey. Void Anchors have increased range and last longer. This right here is the main reason that I select this perk tree on Shadow Shot, and the reason being is because I run Orpheus Rig. Uncanny Arrows provides ability energy for each enemy tethered by Shadow Shot anchors. Now, Orpheus Rig is an amazing exotic, guys. It really and truly is. Orpheus Rig can give you your super back almost instantly if you tether 7 or more enemies. So going back to our build here, when I was talking about Deadfall just a second ago, that's why I use this, because the Void Anchors will just sit there on the ground. They have increased range, meaning they're going to reach out further, and they last longer, meaning more enemies can potentially get trapped in them. So that's why I run this top tier on Night Stalker when I'm using Orpheus Rig, because it literally just sits there for like 30 seconds. It's kind of crazy. Lastly, Vanishing Step. This is pretty useful. When you do your dodge maneuver, you just go invisible for a little bit. Now, comparing that to down here, you get Vanish and Smoke. I would much rather have this over that. Down here, we have Lockdown. Grenade effects last twice as long. This definitely can come in handy. Heart of the Pack, generate orbs, mobility, recovery, resilience for you and nearby allies. And Mobius Quiver, fire Shadow Shot multiple times in rapid succession. Shadow Shot deals massive damage against tethered enemies. This one is also really good when using Orpheus Rig because, again, you can fire multiple shots and it doesn't matter which one of your tethers actually tethers the enemy. They don't all have to be on the same tether, so you could just fire this all around and get your super right back with Orpheus Rig. But like I said, this one is just kind of idiot-proof. You fire one where you know enemies are going to be coming out of a door or dropping down from a ship or something like that, and it's going to constantly grab them. The best example I can give you guys of this is if you're doing the Fallen public event where they're doing the Glimmer extraction, where the ships just come in and drop like the 8 enemies at once. You put a tether on the ground before they even come out of that ship, you're getting your super back as soon as they hit the ground. So it's just all around really fun to use. It's a really good build, and I enjoy it. And it also works really good with the Vortex Grenade because they're all trapped, and it just sits there and kills them. So Orpheus Rig, as of right now, is my top Hunter exotic. But like I said, if I could actually get a fucking Celestial Nighthawk to drop, I would be using it quite a bit. So talking about some other exotics, Knucklehead Radar is very, very valuable for your hunters. It gives you radar while aiming, period. I mean, that's a huge advantage in both PvE and PvP. Foe Tracer is one of those that's not as useful in PvE, but for you Crucible players, Foe Tracer is probably going to be one of your better bets. I don't have every exotic for my Hunter on PlayStation because, like I said, all I ever get is Raiden Flux. But the Stomp EE5s or Frost EE5s or whatever they're called, those are actually not that bad. That's what I use on Xbox because I don't have Orpheus Rig and I don't have Celestial on Xbox either because my Hunter's RNG is trash. But that's pretty much it. Like those exotics that I just told you about, like honestly that's your best bets when it comes to equipping exotic armor on your Hunter. Like those are your best options. Now, as far as legendary armor, there's only one thing that you need to focus on when picking your armor set for your Hunter, and that is recovery. Hunters, by default, have very low recovery, very high mobility, so you want to try to get your recovery as high as possible, and I think that the absolute highest recovery that a Hunter can get is only 6. At least that's the highest I've been able to get mine. You might be able to get 7, but I personally haven't seen a Hunter with 7 recovery yet. Not saying it's not possible, I just haven't seen it myself. So that being said, that was one of the reasons that I chose to go with the Future War Cult armor set for the Faction Rally for my Hunter. For the simple fact that it is all survivalist Hunter armor, which grants improved recovery. So I made sure that I went ahead and got a full set of that. Plus, I mean, it looks good on the Hunter. It's a good looking set. I enjoy it. I like it. It's pretty nice. Now, as far as weapons, if you watch my Titan video and my Warlock video, you'll know that I use the same weapons on all 6 of my characters, and I don't really change them up all that much. That being said, it's pretty much always going to be either Nameless Midnight or Better Devils in the primary slot. It's pretty much always going to be Sunshot or 765 in the energy weapon slot, and then for the heavy, it's either going to be Blue Shift, Merciless, Dubious Volley, Hawthorne's Field Forge Shotgun. I don't really use swords all that much. I will occasionally in public events. Tarantula, Linear Fusion Rifle. I keep one of these on each character because they're really, really fun. And the Long Walk, which is the Trials Sniper, and arguably one of the better snipers in the game. And that's honestly not saying much because snipers aren't in the best place right now. It's pretty much either the Long Walk or Borealis if you're on PS4. And I do enjoy Borealis, but I don't like it taking up an exotic slot because, again, I pretty much always have Sunshot equipped. Sunshot for the Hunter is just a really good fit. Hand cannons in general for the Hunter are just a really good fit. I will say this, another exotic that I've been using quite a bit lately in PvE is Vigilance Wing. It's pretty fun. It's not the most effective primary weapon or kinetic weapon that you can use by any means, but it feels good. And once you learn to control the recoil, you kind of aim at an enemy's chest when you open the burst, as opposed to aiming directly at their head because the recoil pattern goes straight up. Once you get the hang of aiming at their chest, then you can land pretty consistent crit shots. And when this thing fires a 5-round burst, it kills a lot of enemies with one burst. It's really nice. It's kind of like a really efficient burst auto rifle. That's how I would describe it. Down here, there's a couple of things on PS4 that I have not gotten yet because, again, my PS4 RNG absolutely sucks, but I do use Hard Light a lot. I don't really use Graviton Lance all that much anymore, and I do use, what's it called, Skyburner's Oath, that auto rifle, or scout rifle, I guess it is, that fires in full auto. I use it quite a bit when I'm fighting Cabal because it does give you a nice little boost. I do keep a Uriel's Gift on each character because meta, why not? And that's pretty much it. I mean, that's all I do. The only other thing that I do is I try to keep a ghost on each of my characters for each destination. So you can see I have an EDZ ghost, a Titan ghost, a Nessus ghost, and an IO ghost. And I actually need to go buy a Kill Tracker ghost for the Crucible so that I can get that going. But that's pretty much it, guys. I don't collect a lot of armor. I have 2 full sets, Optimacy and Simulator for my hunters. I have these on both PS4 and Xbox One. If you have not done your faction rally grinding for this week, it is still going on. I would recommend that you go onto YouTube and you search Winding Cove Faction Token Farming, because you can get about, I don't know, 500-600 tokens in the matter of an hour or 2. So definitely worth your time. That's how I managed to get all this in a day. And yeah, that is pretty much going to bring this video to an end, guys. Drop a comment in the box below. Let me know what your favorite hunter build is, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. If you enjoyed this one, click like. If you're new to the channel, click subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, I fucking love you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and take care.